Hello and welcome to the McTaggart Attack podcast. I'm Kevin McTaggart and this is my podcast where I give my opinions on whatever the fuck I want. It can be from the entertainment world, political world, people who've pissed me off, I guess I could. Things I like, things I don't like. Basically, pretty much anything. You know, you name it, I'll talk about it. I've even had people suggest topics to me. Hey, talk about this. Talk about crying babies in restaurants. Done. Kevin, you should talk about these people who are walking on fresh pavement. Done. Kevin, talk about this. Done. Kevin, talk about potholes in the Upper Valley. I did talk about potholes in the Upper Valley. And I'd like to point out that two of the biggest violators of potholes in the Upper Valley have since been fixed since my podcast. That's right. The road into the Weathervane seafood restaurant has been repaved. And Centera Parkway in Lebanon, New Hampshire, I work on that road. That road has been repaved. It's been repaved for the first time ever. Why? Probably because of my podcast. You can reach me by email, mctaggartattack@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at KevMcT. That's KEVMCT. Or the first three letters of my first and last name. There's also a Facebook page for the McTaggart Attack podcast. Just look up McTaggart Attack and you should be able to find it. This episode, I'm going to talk about the whole Antonio Brown saga. That's right. I'm going to talk about it. For those of you that don't know, Antonio Brown is a football player in the National Football League. He went to Central Michigan. He's a wide receiver, which means he's the guy that catches the balls from the quarterback, for those of you that don't know what a wide receiver does. But there's been a lot of drama with Antonio Brown since the end of last season, when he didn't show up for the last game of the regular season against the Steelers. They then traded him in the offseason to the Raiders. He got huge money from the Raiders, like $30 million or something like that. And then he got released from the Raiders and has signed with the Patriots, the New England Patriots, the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, as of yesterday. That's just a short version of all of this. But so when he went to the Raiders, he started practicing. Then I guess he went to do some cryotherapy over in France. And his feet got messed up. His feet got burned from the cryotherapy because he did the cryotherapy wrong or something like that. And then there was an issue with the helmet because the helmet he usually uses is too old of a helmet and he needed to pick a newer helmet. But he didn't want to pick a newer helmet. He liked the helmet that he used. He thought the helmet that he had kept him safe. And he wasn't playing. He wasn't practicing or anything during the preseason for the Raiders because of his damn helmet the whole friggin' time. It was the big story on the NFL the whole goddamn time. That, his helmet. You know, he might not play anymore because of his helmet. That's ridiculous. There's too much money. There's 30 million reasons why he will play. And that's his guaranteed money that he had from the Raiders. So he gets his helmet, everything. Then he gets in a fight with Mike Mayock, the general manager of the Raiders. And I think he apparently also called Mike Mayock a cracker. And they were thinking of suspending him for that. They didn't. Then he apologized late last week. Then put out a video that contained a phone conversation that he recorded with John Gruden that was illegal, apparently, because John Gruden did not give his consent, although John Gruden is absolutely fine with it. Then they told Antonio that they were fining him $215,000. The Raiders were fining him $215,000. And thus, that fine negated... Also, in addition to that fine, I think, they've also negated his guaranteed money. He would have to earn his money on a week-to-week basis now. And he was not happy about that. And so he went on Instagram and demanded that the Raiders release him. Which, to me, seemed quite familiar to, like, The Office, when Michael Scott, Steve Carell's character, declares bankruptcy by going, "I declare bankruptcy!" Not how it works. But it worked. It happened. He got released. And then I'm in a car with my dad. We're driving down to the BC football game. And when all of this is happening, and we're just like, he's going to end up on New England. We were kidding, though. We didn't really want it to happen. I didn't really want it to happen. I'm like, just kidding. But I wouldn't be surprised. It felt like it was going to happen. And then, like, we're at the BC game. It's after halftime. It's around 5 o'clock or so. And the tweet comes out from Adam Schefter, the verified official Adam Schefter Twitter account, that Antonio Brown has agreed to a deal with the New England Patriots. And they were just like, it was surreal, because like everybody else there at the game, because the game was a blowout at that point, was looking at their phones too, and they were all talking about it. I was talking to these strangers who were sitting behind us, talking about the contract like it was a $9 million contract, guaranteed money. It can be up to $15 million though. And it's just, holy fucking shit. This whole thing is so ridiculous. Like, honestly, I was going to do a podcast episode on Antonio Brown after he got cut. It was going to be called Antonio Brown is an Idiot. But I have to change the title now. It's actually Antonio Brown is a Patriot. Or I might make it... No, it won't be a genius. No. Too many people on sports media have called him a genius now, and I'm just like, no, he's a Patriot. Maybe I'll do... is an idiot. Somehow, I wish I could underline it or draw a line through it or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. He's a Patriot. We'll see what I do. But I'm like, oh my God. So ridiculous. This whole thing is... And, like, I honestly think... And this has already been talked about in other experts, alleged sports experts. But, like, he wanted to go to New England from the very beginning. He wanted the Steelers to trade him to New England. But the Steelers instead said, no, you're not going to the Patriots. We're going to trade you to one of the worst teams in the league, the Oakland Raiders. So they did. So he'd been trying to figure out ways to get out of this. You know, with like the helmet issue, with the frozen feet issue, which I think he legitimately did on purpose. That would probably just makes him an idiot. And then there's even a report that like he talked to some social media people to ask advice on how he could get released. So yeah, he never was going to play for the Oakland Raiders. He did everything he could to get the Raiders to cut him. He got in a fight with the general manager, and they still wouldn't cut him. They apologized. Then they fined him. Then they're like, yeah, nope, release me. So they're like, you know what? Since he's freaking asking to be released, they'll release him. And so they're, as of like 4 p.m. on Saturday, he had become a free agent. He could go anywhere he wanted. And an hour later, it's announced that he's gone to the Patriots. There's no way this fucking happened that soon. That had probably been planned. That's definitely where Antonio Brown wanted to go in the first place. And there's no way he came up with all this Instagram art that he puts on. Like these videos that he did. When he ran out the door when he saw that had been released, all excited. And then he had that video that I talked about earlier with John Gruden where he recorded the goddamn phone conversation. That was a very well done video in a short amount of time. I'm no video expert, but it just seemed like it sure didn't take much that long for them to make a video that was that good. You know what I mean? There had to have been takes. You don't just do that on one take. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think he had been planning on leaving this entire time. He had no intention of playing for the Raiders at all. He wanted to play for the Patriots. He figured out a way to play for the Patriots, and now he's signed with the Patriots. I think he's just annoyed that he couldn't sign with the Patriots sooner. That way he'd be playing tonight against the Steelers, the team that traded him to Oakland in the first place. Anyway, now he's a Patriot, and now I'm happy to have him. Even though I think he's an idiot. But we'll see how long he lasts with the Patriots. I don't know how long he's going to last with the Patriots. It'll be interesting to see. If there's an ounce of drama, if there's anything he does, they will cut his ass really fucking quick. And if he can't stay on with the Patriots for the entire year, it's going to be hard for teams to find a place for him next year. He won't get his money. He won't get any big money. If it's in Antonio Brown's best interest to stay with the Patriots now, play well for the entire year, win a Super Bowl, and then go sign wherever the fuck he wants next season. And that's the bottom line if you smell what the McTaggart Attack podcast is cooking.